Hey, it's God-given. This is a guide to YINLIN. Quick disclaimer, this guide is catered more to the casual side of players, and I will not be getting into the very deep theory crafting territory with all the most efficient damage number charts and stuff like that. This is just a quick guide on how to build YINLIN. Let's get into it. Let's start with if you should pull for YINLIN or not. The short answer is everyone should pull for YINLIN. Just to look at her. It's not a matter of whether you should pull for her, but how much you're willing to sacrifice for our queen. With this out of the way, here's the explanation of YINLIN's kit. On hitting YINLIN's basic attacks, enemies are inflicted with Sinner's Mark, which disappears if you swap characters. These Sinner's Marks can be transformed into punishment marks if YINLIN hits the enemy with her heavy attack when her forte gauge bar is full. Her forte bar is filled by hitting enemies with her basic attacks and resonance skill. These punishment marks will hit the enemy once per second when any character hits the enemy, and they keep on hitting even if you swap characters. This is going to be the most important mechanic to understand to allow YINLIN to be a sub-DPS. Moving on to YINLIN's resonance skill. Her skill is a two-part skill. For the first use of it, YINLIN will deal minor electro damage in a small AoE and enter magnetic state, in which her basic and counter attacks will be enhanced and will trigger Judgment attack up to 4 times for the duration of the skill. The second use of the skill will deal some more electro damage and the enhanced state will end. Both uses of the skill will fill YINLIN's forte gauge. YINLIN's ultimate is just a huge nuke that deals a lot of damage to enemies around her and applies Sinner's Mark on the enemy's hit. Her intro skill is not very interesting, just the usual swap in to deal some damage. Her outro skill, however, is one of the most insane ones in the game. When you swap from YINLIN to another character, this character will get a 20% electro damage deepen and a 25% resonance liberation damage deepen for 14 seconds or until the character is swapped. That makes YINLIN the best in slot teammate for Kalkaro, as he benefits greatly from both of these multipliers. When it comes to leveling talents, prioritize leveling up YINLIN's forte circuit, resonance liberation and resonance skill. Her basics and intro skill don't do much damage, so their priority is lower. When it comes to weapons, YINLIN's best in slot is obviously her signature weapon String Master. If you are not planning to pull for it, the other great options would be the standard 5-star weapon, the Battle Pass weapon Augment if you are a spender, and the 4-star Jinzhou Keeper, which you can get from the gacha system. If you have none of these, then just use whatever 4-star weapon you have, or craft the Rectifier 25. We're all working with what we've got. Let's move on to the echoes. For the 1-cost echoes main stat Get Attack Percentage, the 3-cost main stat Electro Damage, and the 4-cost Crit Rate or Crit Damage, choose whichever the one you're currently lacking. For most players it's going to be Crit Rate. For maximum damage potential, get YINLIN the Void Thunder Echo set. If you're planning to run YINLIN as a sub-DPS, then you can opt out for a Moonlit Clouds set instead, to give her some more energy regen and more buffing capabilities. You can also run a 2-piece Void Thunder and Moonlit Clouds, or even the Lingering Tunes set. I'd personally just choose whichever set I have the best substats on. Speaking of substats, prioritize getting crit rate and crit damage as the 2 most important substats. Other than that, it's good to get energy regen, resonance liberation or resonance skill damage bonuses, and attack percentage. You can run either 4-4-1-1-1 or 4-3-3-1-1 echo setups. Again, just choose the one that suits your current situation most. If you are already above Union level 40, then probably the 4-3-3-1-1 setup will be worth getting instead of the 4-4-1-1-1 setup. If you're below Union level 40, then 4-4-1-1-1 is also a valid option, as you don't have to spend your entire lifetime grinding the overworld for 3-cost echoes. You only have to spend half of it grinding the correct main stat for the 4-cost echoes, lamau. Moving on to YINLIN's roles. YINLIN's main playstyle is going to be sub-DPS for most people, as her punishment mark keeps on hitting enemies even if YINLIN's not on the field, and her outro skill gives a very huge electro damage and ultimate damage buff to the next character. You can play her as a main DPS as well if you are an aesthetics enjoyer. YINLIN's basic rotation is going to be Skill, 4 basic attacks, Skill. If you have enough forte gauge to use her enhanced heavy attack after this, use it and swap to another character. If not, just swap to another character. Yinlin's teams. Kalkaro Yinlin Sustain is Yinlin's best team as of the 1.0 update. If you don't have a Kalkaro, Yuan Wu is a good 4-star option as well. You can also run Yinlin with any other DPS unit, especially if they rely on Resonance Liberation damage, like Chisha or Havoc Rover. But you will lose out on her outro skill damage bonuses if the character is not dealing electro damage or does not rely on the damage from Resonance Liberation. Still, Yinlin can deal a lot of damage while being off-field on her own, so she can work in pretty much any team. For now, just work with what you have. Whenever we get new electro damage dealers, Yinlin will also be a great teammate for them. That's it for the guide. If you enjoyed the video and you want to see more videos like this one, then like, comment and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for watching.